It is Show Us Your Tips, presented by ProGroupRacing.com.au. Here again, Adrian flying solo with the Beaver still being a beach bum. He has at least sent through some tips this week, so I'll relay them as we get through it. But look here to look at Magic Millions Day, the $15 million Magic Millions race day up on the Gold Coast, as well as a quick look through Sydney and Flemington. But we'll get started on Magic Millions. I'm not the best at making small talk with myself, so we'll get straight into the tipping. First of all, we'll mention ProGroupRacing.com.au, who do a fantastic job and obviously look after us, but check them out for their tips as well. They have their form analysts up there, as well as plenty of news, opinions, some bookies offers, and some magazine articles. So plenty going on ProGroupRacing.com.au. Check them out. And let's get stuck into the Magic Millions race day on the Gold Coast. The rail is in the 1 metre mark up to the 400 and then true for the remainder. Good weather, good track. Played a little bit on pace last week, I thought. Might have just been class of horse, but I think a little bit hard to make ground. But and envisaging similar setup tomorrow. We did see National Wheeler just on fire. Owned a couple of races and got a couple of lesser horses into places throughout the day. He obviously is at his best at the moment, and I'm expecting him to be at the 4 again tomorrow. But we kick off with Australia's Richest Maiden over the 1,200 metres, $250,000. Big field, tough race to do. I thought the Waterhouse yard held the key there for Valor. Was nice enough resumption, working outside lead in Sydney before getting sent up there. And around the $4.60 mark's a reasonable bet. There will be horses set for this that may or may not have been fully committed to winning a race before now to get into this race. But around $4.60, I thought for Valor with Nash to kick us off for the day is a way to start. And one at about 50s down the bottom for the same Waterhouse, all that sass, currently 34s, was $46 last night when I was doing the form. Ground home behind Flexible, second up, and now third up into this race. Last prep did chase her, go around alongside the likes of On the Lead and Virgo, then chased Tiny and Cat Doro in town, who are both Sydney Metropolitan horses. So at around, if you can get 40s on the day, even 34, reasonable each way bet there. In a wide race, all at SAS, number 12 was the other option for the Waterhouse yard in the first. So, yeah, rate numbers 8 and 12 for Adrian Bott and Gay Waterhouse in the maiden race. Race 2, the quality handicap over the 1,800 metres. This was a much easier affair because the keys, the backup horses here, and very nice win, Craig Williams special, but I think it's just a repeat of last week. Parody gets a 7-day backup of a soft win beating Frosty Rocks. They're both here again. Go back through a form. Parody as well. Last prep, beat home Toffee Tongue in a race. Just missed behind Sovereign Award a couple of times, who was flying. And Defibrillate, who's obviously a talented horse down in Melbourne, but I didn't spend too long here. Parody, she's been backed as well, I can see. But for me, Parody to beat Frosty Rocks again. If there's a fly in the ointment, it may be my old boy Badouche bringing different form lines up third up into this race. In the 20 to 1, easy to have a bet on that. Just something away from the market. The Beaver has sent through some tips here, and he's with number 8. It's Lily coming up from Wyong for Andy Mallion. That's his first tip of the day. Chiming in here with It's Lily, number 8. Race 3 is the 2,400 metre race, where we see Ballistic Boy out to the distance for the first time. On first thoughts, a bit disappointing last week. And then having watched the replay, perhaps not as bad. Nothing really was able to make ground throughout the day, as I mentioned earlier. So maybe a better run than it appeared. Was never given a chance. Ground home quite well. That said, nothing in this race. It's never started over 2,400, and not much else has had the 2,400 lead up. Which the one it has, which I've got on top, is Parry Sound. Also haven't always been that kind too, but has had the right lead up, coming through the form with where are we here? The Harpo Marks Power of Attorney race, splitting them. Has had the start over 2,500. Andrew Melian, no issue or backing anything he's on. So on top for me at each way price, Parry Sound, Black Gold, the main danger. Chris Waller's going to have a lot of his army firing tomorrow, and I think he's here to run. Obviously, here to run well again. The Beaver is with Ballistic Boy, number 1 on top. At about the favourite about $3.60. So he's saying he can back up and get out to the 24, no problems. Race 4 over the 1,200 metres. Another open affair, but again, the quick backup horses here. I've gone with Nash again with a theory. Just gets a perfect setup here. Tags straight across behind the 2 leaders. Tags right onto their backs. It's just going to be pull out in the last 100, go straight past them with a PR, I think. The perfect run there. Very hard to beat. The obvious is Clary Connor's Stolen Jade flying. You're getting an each way price still. So they're the 2 easy bets to have as I wait for my odds to update here. 2 easy bets to have in this race for me. Where are we here? Yep, skipped one here. That was race 5. So I'll finish up the thoughts here and go back to race 4. Not confusing at all, but race 5 was the girls. Yeah, they're around a $3.50 a theory easy bet to have from Stolen Jade, who's $6, getting an each way price there. Dun Purdy Power has come up. His 20s is a knockout for me there. Back to the 4th though, which I've got excited here as I've skipped through my notes. Back to the 4th race, which is the sprint. And plenty of pace here with Bella Vella, obviously leading him up with Lagerfield. Roheryn, for me, is on top. The blue colours to the 4 here. Roheryn, about $8.50. Gets a wide gate here, lots of pace. Hopefully can chime in by now on this track. And I think is going to be finishing too strongly for some of these. Exhilarates was wide and not really a chance last start at Eagle Farm. Did win the 2-year-old race here last year, and back through a form over 1,200 metres. Does have just missed by a lip behind Loving Gabby, which obviously stacks up here. So the 2 blue colours, I'm expecting both at double figure odds to run well. Exhilarates also gets JMac. So tick there. King of Hastings was tremendous in Sydney last week, 3 wide outside lead, and can probably be backed off that run. So all those 3, hopefully around $8, $9, if not better marks, easy bets to have for me, and that's the way I'll play the race. The Beaver is with Jonker, the favourite, and that's how he's approaching it. We've spoken about the girls in race 5. Race 6 is the 2-year-old, kicks off the quaddie, the 2-year-old race, and I can't believe the price they put up of She's All Class. Absolutely owned She's a Witness, Swift Witness, I should say. Last start, Swift Witness's favourite was very good last week, but She's All Class covered ground, towed her, and you're getting $4.20 in the rematch in a race. I don't think there's much of the boys, which is a finance tycoon, form line ran slower times last week. I know Waller's got an opinion of this horse, and believe he can go here and come back and be slipper competitive. So She's All Class around $4.20 is a great bet. Obviously, Swift Witness, if it's made the appropriate improvement, I don't know if she can turn the table, but will run well. And they're the 2 for me in the 2-year-old race. So that was one of the easier races a day to worry about. Let's get to the 7th, which is the $2 million 3-year-olds. The big field here, and I'm tipping away game to turn the tables on Isotope here. You're getting they met when away game was first up last time. Away game's now third up, had the trial, had the trial, so had to run the trial, and you're getting $2 million Glenn Boss, which he's arguably the best rider in Australia, and I think can turn the tables, will be in front of Isotope to run and be very hard to beat. Around the $4 mark, a good bet. Obvious danger, Isotope, who beat her last time, and one that I'll throw into my early quaddie if it gets a run will be booming over, just because I think we don't quite know the top of her, but almost a 2-horse race there for me, and I'm pretty keen that Kieran Mar filly can do the job. Race 8 is the million 1,400 metre race, where I am again finding my man Nash with 11:11, who's flying this prep. Very good win at Wyong, where he donkey linked them, went to Canterbury, didn't have a great deal of luck, overcame what could be a bias and won quite well. And at Wyong did beat Yardash, who did fly last week and is the obvious danger. But I think they're the two, Yardash and 11:11, the quick backup. I will have something small and outrageous at around the $17 there, just because he's been quite good to me over spring. The Beaver is tipping number 12, Yardash, on the quick backup with Brent Navdala to repeat the dose from last weekend. And to wrap up the day on the Gold Coast, 1,300 metre $1 million race, and somewhat begrudgingly, because I'm not sure where this horse is at, but Bossy in the last will be doing his salute as he goes past the post first on Yamazaki, the same way he did last weekend to finish off the day and knock me out of whatever I'd going in that race. Gate onesies are concerned, so will need to be at his absolute best, but I think has to go on top. The two outside of that will be Boom Nova, who I mentioned if does get a run in the other race. Quick backup off a nice win last week and is flying. And Boomtown lasts around a $9 mark is a nice each way option there as well. That's my thoughts on the $15 million Magic Millions Day up at the Gold Coast. My best of the day is She's All Class for the 2-year-olds. If she's come back as well as she went out, I think she'll win that. My value is Roheryn in race 4. The quaddie on the Gold Coast, 1, 11, 12 into 3 and 13, and throwing the 19 in if it's there in that race. 1, 3, 4, 7, 11 and 12. Home with 2, 6, 10, 16 and 18. Obviously one of they're both emergencies, so would need to get a run. $50 gets you just under 24% for that. Hopefully a winning way to spend Magic Millions Day. And now for progripracing.com.au, we'll look through the rest of the eastern states. I'll run through in best bets order. So we'll kick off down in Flemington, where the rail is at a 9-metre mark. Some showers around today, perhaps some tomorrow, so we'll monitor that. But at the moment, anticipating a decent, good fall. Flemington's played fantastic all summer. I am going to quickly run through and give some thoughts here. Race 1, the 1,100 metres up the straight for the benchmark 78 girls. At first thought, I thought Parlophone in 78 grade was immoral, and I could still be thinking that, but the deeper you dive in here, there is some form tied together. There is Tiny down from Sydney, perhaps a fly in the ointment as well. But if she repeats her massive win at Morphettville, we'll win this. Went out just 3 lengths off September Run, who is in the conversation for best straight mare in Australia. So if that all adds up in the way it should, I think Parlophone's a good way to start the day. Beaver agrees, has her on top and the best of the day at Flemington. But I'm a little less confident than I was when I first started there. The 1,600 metre race, benchmark 70. Question mark here with Great House, lightly raced Waller import in the race. Not quite sure. 2-start horse that's come over and kicking off here. Any market support, Great House, I'm guessing, is here to run very well. Just taking on the Sicario form from last week, it was good. The race wasn't. So if Hasselhoff repeats a dose it did on New Year's Day, it'll just win this. Around a $3 mark it was last night, a couple of scratchings now, slightly shorter. Jamie Carr goes on, no problems there. Hasselhoff again will run well in this grade. Another 78 for the girls. Up the straight here. Market's right. I'm not overly keen in race 3, but Absolute Furt going back through her form as a second. Yes. On her resume, and then first up last prep beat home Dirty Work and Ghana, which is group form, and should run well here. I know it's only 2 starts from 2 wins from 30, nearly 30 starts. Where is she? 14 starts, 2 wins from 14 starts. I'm thinking another horse there, but the form stacks up better than a lot of these who are coming through. I guess lesser races, so if she's at her best here, Damien Oliver, obviously no problem, and will run well here. Race 4, 2,000 metres, benchmark 73-year-olds. I found this race nearly impossible. interesting talking points for me was if Checkerboard and Narvez don't go crazy, they can control this race and be very hard to beat. They have full say on probably the outcome of this race. The rest are lightly raced 3-year-olds out to the trip for the first time. Hard for me to stamp any of them. They all look like, well, the top 6 in the market all look like they're on the improve. Liqueur, interesting, missed the start on debut. Ran well, 1,500 out to 2,000 for Cindy Alderson, and that's the booking of Jamie Carr. So interesting horse. I don't know, as I said, how much I want to get involved with this race. I'll probably have a sanity bet on Checkerboard, double figures, just because I have all through this prep and does get an element of control here with Nevaeh's. Beaver is with number 1, which is Nevaeh's, to win this race. But I found it a bit of a tricky affair. Race 5, the 600-metre handicap. One of the better bets today here for me is overexposure. Last start, chased home Vacillator, who came out and just missed in the Chester Manifold last week, and arguably should have fought out the finish. Just had a horse come back at his face around the 300. Had to come over heels, get going again, back up along the rail. Hard to do, and I think this is a weaker affair and can run well. Damien Lane flying, so overexposure, one of my better bets of the day, and the Beaver agrees, has it on top as well. Race 6, 1,400-metre benchmark 84. I found it hard to really stamp either lead up here. Beaver did. He went with number 5, Rule the World, after it missed the start last week, and they might have found a better way to ride it. Running on instead of trying to lead, it was quite impressive. The other lead up was Viral, who just missed behind Never Again, who did win the Chester Manifold. So we'll have an idea of that form line going in here by this time of the day. I couldn't really split either way. If I was going to go away from them, maybe Holbein, the top weight, who chased home Defiant Dancer and Riding the Wave last start and is nearly 20-1. Maybe that's a small play you could have if you don't want to play within the market. If I had a gun to my head, I'd probably have 6 from 5, but they're the main 2 chances. The listed Kensington Stakes, I don't know if this is any easier for the 1,000 metres. We see the converging of form lines with Fabergino and Prezzato. Obviously, Fabergino had Prezzato covered there, so it was my starting point. Pandemic did win quite well last 2 weeks back, but that was against William Thomas and Brave Song, who I'm not convinced are really with us. So I don't know what to. I'm probably saying it's a weaker one, not sure, but maybe can take the winner out of that race, no problems. And Sort of Mercy is flying. The times are good. They're the obvious chances. For me, I'm going to have Fabergino on top. Owned Prezzato last week, was quite soft through the line. I think gets similar setup, same control from Sort of Mercy. So I'm actually splitting away from that form line. I think those 2 will fight at the finish. The Beaver is with number 8, who is Sort of Mercy as well. So he has Sort of Mercy, one of his on top there. Benchmark 78 for over the 2,000 metres. Good little race here where I'm going to stump up again for, well, first of all, we have Long Arm, who won quite nicely on Australian debut. Obviously, if it progresses, it takes a natural step from there. It's the starting point for the whole market and one to beat. Influential Girls on the quick backup, though, which you're getting $10 again. Was good again at Caulfield last week. Chased home Defibrillate, which I'm now saying is decent form. Before that, beat Night Witchers and was quite good at Caulfield. The horse that beat it, though, is here, Takumi. But just saying, quick backup, hopefully can turn the tide. Flemington should suit. And around $9 to find out. The other 2 I've mentioned there, Takumi and Long Arm, going to the quaddie. And we'll finish the day with my best of the day mystery shot, unbeaten. All the form through the first prep has stood up through it since. Wicklow Town, Splendid Grass, those sort of horses. Taking a claim here to get in. I think this isn't the strongest race. Turbine disappointing last start and hopefully kicks off here. And I'm guessing he's heading towards some good stuff in spring, maybe a Rupert Clark, not spring, autumn. Perhaps the early 400-metre Caulfield stuff in early autumn will suit that. And if it's going to win them, it would want to be winning this. So my best of day mystery shot to finish off. I'll make my value Influential Girl. I've got a celebrity quaddie here. Producer Mariah has supplied hers. So 4, 5, 6, and 8 into 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 5, 2, 5, 10, and 12, 3, 4, 10, 11, 13 from her. That's the way she's playing the Queen tomorrow. $50 gets you 10%. I've gone a bit skinnier. 1, 3, 5, and 6 into 1, 2, 4, 6, and 8, 2, 4, 5, 10, and 14. Home with just 3, and if Perturbion does a bounce back, goes in as well. 20% for the $50 there at Flemington. We head back to Rosehill, first time this year. We've been at Rosehill with the rail in the true. Good track, standard Rosehill stuff, and hopefully we're kicking off with a winner with the debut of a nice horse for the Hawks Yard. Remark's been super in 2 trials. Beat Ranch Hand, who come out and won since, and will be running in the Magic Millions race tomorrow. And then sat off in 1 trial and sat off the pace and looked even more impressive second time. I think it starts a day in Sydney with a win, and I am with that quite strongly. Will in fact be my best of the day at Rosehill. It's in quite short at the moment, so we'll see. Just keep an eye on that. I might throw out another best for the sake of it, or we'll see if we can add that into a little all up. And Beaver's got it on top as well. Where are we here? Race 2, benchmark 88. We see the return of the Bopper, who went out with the impressive win and taking on Tailleur. I don't know if I could take evens about the Bopper. Trial was fine. And Tailleur maybe disappointing last start, but they both come here. I think they're the 2 that go in the early quarter. I probably won't be betting in the race. Neither would surprise me, really. Nothing outside of them. I had 3 looks at Academy. Maybe needs a run here and maybe looking for further. Race 3, the Highway, nothing much from me, but Beaver is keen on number 7, which is Mother's Mercy from his favourite Paul Massari yard, coming off Kenzo. Kenzo failure, but he's saying can bounce back, so I respect that tip. The staying race is race number 4 over the 2,000 metres. I've got Harpo Marks on top. I think it's the one to beat. Gate 2 hopefully can settle a little bit closer than it has been its last couple of starts. And I think should win this race. The question mark is Zakaz coming off the failure in Melbourne, where they blamed the firm tracks. He didn't look that great. Gate 1, though, and that Melbourne form tends to stack up in these staying races. We've seen it through the horse that beat Parry Sound, apparently discreet, one of the discreet horses, and another one since where it's stacked up okay in this grade. So the main danger. So 5 from number 3, race number 4. Race 5 for the boys of the 78, benchmark 78 over the 1,200 metres. Half the field all started long behind all-time legend last start. Chara Terror was the shortest in that one. That is a win over Liberty's Sun. So I didn't really know where to split that lot, so I decided to not. And I went looking for different form and I found the top 2 in the market. Friedman Stable Flying, Cognac, I should say, is coming, lightly raced horse coming off longer overseas form, but second trial was nice enough to fit into a race like this. I'm getting John Van rides a lot for him, so no real trouble there. So, but no senior jockey books. I think it's more of a weight thing than a run around warm up sort of thing. So that and Star Spangled Rodeo are the 2 I'll be backing in the race. Star Spangled Rodeo trialled quite nicely, then had 8 weeks off, where I'm guessing there must have been an issue in between. Second trial was okay as well. And you're getting $15 here. So they're the 2 I'll be looking to play. I couldn't untangle the rest of the form, so I didn't. Essentially, went looking away from them. Looks like both have been backed. In fact, a few people are with me. Both get and Star Spangled Rodeo probably just sits right on Liberty Sun's back and gets first crack. Cognac probably gets last crack. Away from there, I don't know what to make of the rest of that form. Obviously, all-time legend going well enough. Lancaster Bomber was the second horse home then, but started 20s. It's all a bit of a mess after that. So just going with the different form there. Race number 7, benchmark 78 as well. Just make sure I'm still recording. Yep. I could have something on here. Oscar Zulu's come out, which leaves probably the obvious as Monagle, but I could have something here on race number 6. Sorry, getting excited again. Monagle, yeah, then starts your market off, I think. I could have something on Canasta. I thought it trailed pretty well alongside Star Spangled Banner. The Star Spangled Radio. So through the same trial, both led that up and probably leads here with Ellsberg coming out and could give them something to chase. Its win here, last time here, has a win over course and distance. Oscar Zulu, just over distance, not the track, but last time 1550 when at Kenzo beat Agassi, who's since gone to Queensland and might not be a horse, but just a speck away from the obvious form. If not, Monagle gets in quite well here. Interesting to see that Archie Alexander didn't mess around getting rid of Lamu, sending up there to Gabby Engelbrett. But doesn't interest me right here. Race 7. I've got the Progressive over 1,300 metres. Progressive horse again, who's come back quite well for the Hawks team, is Shake, around a $4 mark. It's very nice resumption, just chimed in and won softly at Warwick Farm. Similar grade here, and a couple of scratchings has left it with its only other rival really was Smart Image, and that's elsewhere. There's not a lot of chasers. Buff and Buster did knock us out 2 weeks back. Probably runs well again with Jason Collette going on for Jason Coyle. Would be the main danger in my mind. But yeah, Shake, one of the better bets today now, I think. Race 8, we see Dun Purdy Powers come up to the Gold Coast, which leaves me with Never Talk clearly on top now. Big win last start, did have the bias in its favour, and it rounded them up convincingly at Kensington. I'm not sure this is a stronger race. In fact, it probably isn't. And I'm not sure. I just can't be involved with Sally's Day. So I guess not sure if it's honest enough, but not one I'm going to back. So I think Chris Lee's Never Talk, and it's going to give him a start. Maybe from the gate 4, consider a bit closer, but then the official maps have it. But if it repeats last start, it wins this race, and you're getting $5.50. Race 9, to wrap up the days where we do see Smart Image. Take on Private Eye. Probably forgive its last run. It just was never a chance at Kensington. Blinkers go on. The Racing New South Wales maps have it actually sitting pretty much outside 1-1, which puts it all right in this race. If it's there, it's very hard to beat. Private Eye, obvious danger there, is flying this prep. Very nice. A couple of very tough wins. I like how it finds something when it needs to and is a clear market. I'm sure it's going to have a lot of hopes there. Riding on it by the end of the day. I will have something small around the 20s and Outback Diva as well to bounce back on top of the dry. The Beaver is with number 8 Private Eye in this race to wrap up his thoughts on the day. But quickly then, I will make my best as I wrap up mine for progretracing.com.au. Wrap up my thoughts for Sydney, where I've got the Hawks trained Remark on top to kick us off with a win in the first, and I will have something on both the Bjorn horses, maybe a run early, but Star Spangled Radio and Canasta is my value. Quaddy in Sydney, 1, 3, 7 and 10 into 3, 5, 6, 7 and 8, 3, 6, 8 and 9. Home with 3, 5 and 8. There may be some scratchings there. I didn't double check that one. Just under 21% for your $50. And hopefully a good day in a warm Western Sydney. Good luck this weekend, punters. Enjoy Magic Moons Day, and we'll see everyone for the midweek preview Tuesday night. Catch you then.